I am back, and thought we talk about something a little nerdy and lighthearted. Um, Philosophy. Uh, that doesn't mean come here with all your little zany ideas and weird pseudo wisdom and fortune cookie cliches and all that other sort of stuff. um, I just wanted to make the point that people who study philosophy uh, think better and are more critical with politics than other folks are. I'm probably going to end up having to repeat this once the chat room is present. No one's presently here in the chat room. So while I'm waiting for people to come into the chat room, I'm going to change this chat filter because I usually always forget until I actually have people actively in the chat and then I've missed messages and have to scroll back up to see what I missed. So I'm going to do that now um, prior to anyone coming in. Wearing my army shirt, my old PT shirt, the long sleeve one when it's cold. Um, I need to get my veteran ID card so I can go to the PX, the Post Exchange, which is like the military's convenience store, right? um, no, it's sort of a convenience store slash um, I don't know, variety store, department store, whatever. As you also have like the military supermarket, the AFEs, and anyway, I need to go like basically have my privileges on military posts, so I can go to the post exchange, well, there's the Army post exchange, Navy post exchange, whatever, and get some doodads. Plus, I can buy stuff for my I can go and buy alcohol for my friends tax free. Yeah, you're gone. I'm fucking cringe, dude. Anyway, I realized why some weirdos come onto people's streams and ask them to do weird stuff is because there are some desperate streamers out there, which I've realized now, who will actually do whatever people in the chat room ask them to do just for likes and subs. I will never do that because personally, I don't give a fuck about any of you. So just saying that. Not that I don't like you folks, my regulars. What's up? You know, you know how we ride. But it's mad weirdos that come up here and ask crazy shit. And from my homeboy Moonlit Fern, who's one of my moderators, and he has his own channel. He's talked about some of the people who follow him who also have channels, and they will do weird shit just to get money to get high. So they will get like they will do anything for likes, subs, or for people to send them cash apps or super chats. I will never do that. For one, I'm not a tweaker, and a lot of those people who sub to him and will do that weird shit are tweakers. I don't even drink, so that ain't even happening. Two, again, I don't care about anyone out there like that to do anything absurd. So anyway, getting back to the chat. Let me respond to everyone. Then I'm gonna get to the meat of the the meat of today's stream. Uh, Nisha G says hi. What's up, Nisha? Lightbug says what's good. Harambe, the way says thoughts on Diddy getting released today. I didn't even know he was getting released, honestly. So I have no thoughts on that. Um, Cosmo Ship says hi. What's up, Cosmo Ship? Um, so anyway, getting back to my topic for today is philosophy makes people better at politics. And like I said, the main, the most general aspect is that philosophy makes you a better thinker across the board. Okay, it's one of the very few things you can do academically that actually improves you intellectually. Like, let's be honest, most college majors will improve you within a specific field or concentration or major, whatever. But outside of that, it doesn't really improve upon how you think and behave and stuff like that. And I would say there's really probably only three majors that do. And I would say that's philosophy, mathematics, and physics. Why are you putting a swastika sign in this chat, Cosmic Ship? I don't even know how you made that, but you're gonna go. You're a fucking retard. And yes, I will call you a fucking retard. You're a fucking retard. I know that just from your username. Like you call yourself Cosmic Ship. You're a fucking retard. And you'll never be on this platform. You'll never be on my channel again. I don't care if you're a fucking kid. You're a fucking retarded ass kid. Go suck a dick. How about that? Somebody need to tell him Gen X don't play. Can someone give him the message? I think he missed the memo. Gen X, we don't give a fuck. If you're if he's a kid, then he shouldn't be on this platform. He shouldn't be on this anyway. I put I set up my streams to say this is not for kids. So his parents failed him, and he's a retard. Anyway, moving on. So getting back to philosophy makes you a better thinker. He probably needs that. And my second point was that not only does it make you a better thinker, it makes you better at politics, which is a very contentious um, field, right? Religion as well, but we're not going to talk about religion today, just politics. But it definitely makes you sharper at thinking about religion too, but keeping it just on politics. So usually most people you would think in like most academic fields, especially in like liberal arts and humanities where you will find philosophy, are usually on the left. And that is the case, definitely. However, whether individually you're on the left or the right, it's going to make you think better about those ideas. Also, uh, another thing is whether you're on the left or the right, philosophy will kind of curtail you going into the extreme ends of either side of that, right? Dude, don't call me beloved. That's uh, great to see you back in the chat, but again, you have issues with your sexual orientation. Don't call another man beloved. Like that is really out of pocket. I didn't know. Well, I didn't know whether he got released or not. I personally don't care. He still has to face trials and hearings going into the this year or next year, however long it takes. Being that it's a federal case, this is going for years. Bro, don't say, bro, you tripping. No, you are tripping. You just called another man beloved. That's out of pocket. So I'm gonna give you this warning. So, but yeah, I mean, we already caught you yesterday saying that you think men are cute, and handsome. Out of pocket. No straight man, and you claim you're straight because you date a woman. Dating a woman does not make you straight. There are a lot of guys living on the DL on the down low who date women. This is how AIDS got spread into the heterosexual community. Was men who play for both sides coming to screw, uh, getting butt fucked, and then having sex with women and spreading those diseases into the heterosexual community because it was not originally so. If you don't believe me, you can watch stuff like HBO and The Band played on, a classic movie from the 90s, or the book it was based on, or some other medical research books that followed up on that AIDS literature from the 80s. But anyway, the only thing a straight man will ever call cute is either kids, women, and animals. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. So we don't need to repeat yesterday's faux pas. Jason said, "This is a smart black man here. I appreciate it, brother." He said, "Out of pocket, he get right." We're trying to explain to him, and I'm not trying to insult Ab because he seems like a good dude, Jason. But yesterday, he was saying he had thoughts. He sometimes had thoughts that other men can be cute or handsome. I'm like, no straight man is gonna think or say that of another man. Like we might say, that's a fly cat right there. That's a fly brother. Or, like I said, the way my homeboys and I would compliment each other. We like, damn, son, I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. And they be like, nah, man, I'm trying to be like you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how we used to talk. Like if we're complimenting each other. That's about it. Like we basically acknowledging, hey, this guy is doing this thing, he getting chicks. You know what I'm saying? That's all it needs to be acknowledged, right? So I mean, he may be struggling with his identity, which is what in the LGBTQ world they call questioning. That's all I'm saying. Um, Zalvin says, did you know when you eat a lollipop, you're just flavoring your spit and drinking it? You might want to tell Diddy that. Um, you could, I mean, you could say that about any food. Your salivary, like, we're not going to make this a gay thing. So, anyway, when you eat stuff, your salivary glands are activated. Okay, and I'm not going to get into much in anatomy and physiology, but also that's how it works on your tongue. Like you have different parts of your tongue to respond to different types of taste, right? You have salty, sour, sweet, bitter, and the fifth one that they discovered back when I was in college was umami, um, named after the Japanese flavoring. Um, like MSG is a umami flavored. All these things are recognized through through your contact with food in your mouth. Like that's you can basically say anything is contact in your spit. I mean that's part of gustation. So anyway, I hope you must be a kid to have just realized that, or pretty young. Anyway, he said you on one tonight. Sorry about that, G. Man, just I mean, like I said, be yourself. But I'm just saying no. I'm just saying just be cool, dude. That's all. Like don't call another man beloved. Like that's out of pocket. He said nowadays we can say cute. We are in modern times. No, we can't. No, we cannot. Uh, you might maybe you watched a little bit too much Will and Grace, or you've been watching The View, or you haven't been doing your push-ups. But straight men don't follow what feminists and LGBTQ say about modern society. We let them do their own thing. Okay, but there's no straight men in 2024 that's calling other straight men cute. I don't care what you watch on The View, Will and Grace, uh, MSNBC, The Young Turks. It's not happening. Zelvin says, my bad. It was supposed to be a joke. Now I feel dumb. I know it was a joke, but what I was saying is You can say that about any taste in anything, but I get it was trying to be like be a quasi gay joke. I get it. I defeated it by basically pointing out that everything works the same way when it comes to gustation. Snapshot. Sniper says, "What's up, dog? What's going on, man?" Someone says, "I'm a go now and I'm a minor and I don't want people like Diddy coming for me." Pause. First of all, if you're a minor, yeah, might you know, I, I knew you were young from the joke. This is what this is what young people don't get. Like some of you guys think you're being clever. You don't realize that we've spun the block several times before you guys were even born. So everything you guys think we've already done. Like seriously, this is why people, this is why parents have sort of a smile on their face when they see their kids doing stuff because they themselves have either done it or they've known others who've done it. So this is why we have a certain look on our face when we see kids doing silly stuff and we're just like, so anyway, uh, he's he said it actually wasn't supposed to be a gay joke. It's about normal lollipops about like dum dums. People still eat dum dums. I mean, that was my joint back in the day, but I didn't think people, nowadays I really don't eat candy except for like Halloween or when someone gives me some. Pause. But um, other than that, I pretty much just eat my fruit snacks, which I need to buy some more, by the way. Uh, BSK said, "What's up? What's going on, man?" He's at a 4.0 GPA. Good, keep it up. I hope. Are you American? Overseas? Wherever you are, keep up that good grade point average. This is gonna get you far throughout your academic career. Tupac Jones says, "What's up? What's up, Tupac?" He said, "Dum Dums are fire though." Yeah, depending on the flavor. The same fruit snacks are fire. Exactly. See, I can eat fruit snacks because technically, and we all know technically is the best form of correct. Technically, they're not candy. Technically, he says I'm American. Good stuff. Tupac Johnson's greeting from Pyongyang. I've been repping the North Korea uh, Pyru since '98. Come on, bro. First of all, Tupac wasn't a Pyru, so that's so so. Uh, and also, Tupac's name is actually Incan. For those who don't know, he was he was named after an Incan uh, re- uh, rebellious leader who rebelled against the Spanish conquistadors back in the 1600s, Tupac Amaru, which is his middle name, also Tupac Amaru Shakur. That wasn't his original name, by the way. I think, I think he was named after from his stepfather. I'm trying to remember, or it might have been his mother who was a Black Panther, but that wasn't his original name. But it was changed to Tupac Amaru Shakur. Tupac Amaru was an Incan rebellious leader, for which he was named. So to call yourself Tupac is kind of funny because that's not necessarily mean someone who's a gangster. Pac himself wasn't a gangster. I mean, he did gangster shit sometimes, but when he put thug life and stuff like that on his chest, um, he he meant it in a way that most people aren't familiar, like who aren't familiar with his music, actually meant it. So, just saying. Anyway, Sugar Ray Robinson says, "What's up, Peanut Head?" Word. All right, you go off my channel. Fucking dumb fuck. Snaps Not Shyper says that Tyson fight. Guess he just wanted the money. He was biting his gloves every time he wanted to really punch that kid. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because remember, he said in the after the fight that he had a biting fixation. I instantly cracked up because I'm thinking, Evander Holyfield or whatever. And that was the same thought I had, was he was probably biting his glove to hold back from wailing on the dude. It I won't say it was a stage fight, but neither fighter gave it all. There was points where Paul leashed could have launched a punch on him, and I think Paul told the truth without realizing it which is he said because he also said after the fight he yeah there was a few times that Mike was open he could have gave him a knockout punch, but he said he was scared that Mike was going to give him a knockout punch in return. And I think that was the case of the fight. Like this was even though this was an officially sanctioned match, it was still an exhibition fight because neither one of them were trying to go hard on each other because they just wanted a payday. Also, I think Mike legitimately didn't have his legs under him, as people kept, talking about. I really don't think he had his legs under him. Because I want to get back to the topic in a short second. Which brand of fruit snacks do you like? All of them. It doesn't matter. Welch, I like the Welches are probably the best ones, but Fundables and I mean, what do you call it? Snack Fundable, whatever you call. 'Em. All of them are pretty much decent to me. So I like the one from Sam's. Simply Pet says Thug Life was a Middle Eastern term. No, it wasn't. Thug Life was a specific term that he that was not a Middle Eastern term. Thug Life is not even a Middle Eastern word. Like that's not even a Middle Eastern word. That's that's simply not true. Thug Life. Where in the Middle East do you have thug life? Thug life will get you thrown in prison or beheaded in the Middle East. That's that was a term that he and some others came up with, which meant basically rebelling against the establishment, more or less. Like he, I'm kind of like overgeneralizing what it meant, but it basically meant rebelling against the establishment. That's what he meant. That has nothing to do with being a Middle Eastern term. That's just patently false. Zalvin says, personally, I think it's disrespectful to fight a fighter like Mike while he's old and not in his prime. Prime Tyson would beat the shit out of him. Jack acting like he beat Mike Tyson as well. Right. I I went into that yesterday. My whole topic yesterday, you guys missed, was about the fight yesterday. Well, both fights, both Tyson's fight and John Jones' fight. But yeah, I talked about that yesterday, so I don't want to go back to that. I want to focus on a new one, which might be a little heady for folks, but um, here we go anyway. So, like I said, being that everyone has thoughts on the election and politics in general because of the election, I was making a point that people who study philosophy, he said, I'll let you get on topic. Appreciate it. Uh, but like I said, there was 2 points I wanted to make which was generally philosophy makes you a better thinker, and two, philosophy makes you better at politics, and that's not specific to one side of the coin. What it's not specific to the left, not specific to the right. Either side you're on, that's going to make you a better thinker. Because even though most people who study philosophy tend to be more on the left politically, there have been conservative philosophers, and some of them have been some of the best philosophers out there. People like um, Willard Van Orman Quine, which is he's considered the philosopher's philosopher. He studied. I mean, he taught at Harvard up until I think he died in 2000. So I never got to meet him. Agatha says, "Hello, good night. I'm here logging on. What's up, Agatha? My little chocolate drop. Agatha gonna make me go back to chocolate. Stop. But I am curious what you look like though. Oh, she calling me dear. Yep, guys, she belongs to me now, so don't even bother. But yeah, Zelvin says I like Trump. Cool. So like I said, um, Darkster says, isn't there a picture of Diddy in a ballerina outfit on the back of the cover of Machiavelli? I don't believe so. Uh, I haven't seen the Machiavelli CD in a long time, but I don't think so. The only person who was in a ballerina outfit was Prodigy from Mobb Deep, but that was as a kid, and that wasn't from Diddy. That was Jay-Z at the Hot 97 summer jam concert back in like I think 2001 when he exposed the man. He was like, he said, he said, back in the day you was a ballerina. Look at you, I seen you. And he dropped this picture of Prodigy as a little kid in a ballerina outfit. And Prodigy had to admit it. Like he was like, yeah, that was him. He's like, yeah, when I was a kid, I studied ballet, and it was just funny because Prodigy and Havoc that made up Mob Deep before Prodigy died. Like, uh, they always try to act like they were the toughest thing you know since swords were invented, and like Jay Z just pretty much clowned him. So and Tupac clowned Mob Deep back in the day. He said you two such and such is from Mob Deep. He said y'all better. He said he's like you better shut the f up before you get slapped the f up. He said don't one of you little Negroes got sickle cell or something. He was talking about Prodigy, which that is unfortunately what he died from about 12 years ago. So it was from his sickle cell anemia. Agatha says at work we found out it was fake. I knew it. I did not tell you. I told you it was fake, baby. I told you. She said so sorry last night about Tyson kissing. When we checked it out, it was all fake. Yeah. So like I said, I told you I, I found it dubious. It's all good. We all get fake. It was like I said, it was probably generative AI or some photo editing or something like that. So, Muhammad Jamal says that Diddy oil up Rick Ross. Dude, what are y'all on today, man? Like some of y'all, look, I'm just gonna say this. You have X videos, X hamster, what was it? X videos, X hamster, uh, Schmorn Hub. Go there for your guys' own, for those little kinks and fetishes. Like, don't bring that here. The only one that can talk sexually to me is Agatha. All right. um, Salvin says guys have adenine. Well, he said guys has adenine been cheating on thymine with uracil. They're not gonna get that, bro. you well, I get it. I'm a nerd, but I don't think everyone's gonna get that joke. Someone's been studying on the amino acids and stuff, huh? Again, I get it. I'm a nerd. That's how you know I'm a nerd. You see the degrees up there, right? um, I get the. Trust me, I got the joke. As soon as I saw adenine, then he said thymine. Yours, I got the joke. So one of the degrees actually is psychology, and I did it. My concentration was biopsychology, so I get it. Because I was originally a general bio major, and I was like, I'm gonna switch to psych and just concentrate on biopsychology because that's what I was interested in. Because at the time, I wanted to be a therapist. Originally, I wanted to be a psychiatrist, so I was gonna go pre med and do general biology. Then I thought, well, a lot of general bio students aren't the greatest in pre med, so why don't I do something that I actually would enjoy since I want to go the psychiatric route anyway? And I switched to psychology, but also I actually spoke with a clinical psychologist instead of a clinical psychiatrist, and I realized I'd rather follow the psychology track and actually because that was specifically more I was interested in than the medicine part. So I ended up dropping pre med. So, but yeah, but I forgot you're 4.0 GPA. That's why you can be genuinely nerdy. So that's what's up. He says, a fellow nerd, I gotta get off so I can do good on my four tests. Absolutely. It's late. I don't know what part of the country you live in. I'm on the East Coast, so it's late here. You should probably, yeah, you should be probably getting ready to hit the hay. Great chatting with you though. Um, Definitely feel free to return. Um, I always have different topics. You can, if you get a chance, check out my previous backlog of content, and you can see like all sorts of stuff I've talked about. A whole bunch of nerdy stuff. As I don't just talk politics, I talk about nerdy stuff, traveling. I'm gonna do more traveling content, especially when I'm actually traveling. I'm just not gonna let people know when I'm doing it because I want it to be a surprise. So, he said, "Yeah, I've had all A's since first grade, man. I wish I were you. I see. Unfortunately, I was a nerd that tried to pretend that I wasn't a nerd. So that's a topic for a different for another day. But good stuff. Um, so what did they say about the video? By the way, I could you said saying it was fake. Did so? Was it digitally edited? Was it just complete generative AI? Or what happened with it? Why she responds, guys? Like I said, I'm gonna get back to what I was saying. So yes, like philosophy makes you better at politics, and that's what I said. Whether you're on the left or the right, one of the things it does do, whether you're on the left or the right, is that it's going to keep you the from adopting the extremist positions on either side, because both extreme positions on either side politically usually cannot be rationally held. They usually held for reasons other than uh, rational grounds, usually for emotional reasons or for um, to have a group identity or other sorts of things. And to be sure, like I said, even though philosophy, being in the liberal arts and humanities, you'll find yourself often aligned with people on the left. It actually curtailed me from some leftist positions I held while I was in college when I went into philosophy. Um, and I'm gonna get to Dark Star's comment in a section. But guys, if you can kind of bring it into the fold for this actual topic, I appreciate it. But so for instance, like I was a vegan in college, but then I realized that wasn't rational, especially as I was also a science major. I was a double major. Well, I ended up being a triple major actually, but and so as I was doing biology experiments, I realized that I couldn't really take veganism seriously because I saw I saw the point to vivisection, and vivisection is something you would be clearly against as a vegan. So what I mean by vivisection is animal experimentation. Vivisection, like in one class alone, we did a whole bunch of vivisection where we either doing ablations or severing of animals and their parts. We even had a running joke in that class, like when when in doubt, ablate, ablate, ablate. um, so yeah, we had all these ablation and severing things, uh, things we did in the wet lab, right? And I realized, and then I was talking with a with an animal science major, and she seemed mildly offended that I was a vegan, even though I didn't attack her. But I think she was offended by the fact that she was like sizably overweight, and I think eating a burger or something while we were talking. But again, I never brought up what she was eating or why, or she, I think she asked me on my position, and I was telling her I was a vegan, and she took some offense to that, or I don't know, or she just thought veganism was absurd. Which, looking at it now, I completely agree with her. But being that the fact that I was more fit than her, she might have taken offense to it on a non-rational level as well. Go figure. Can't help if the boy looks good. So I'm playing. Oh, she's Agnes says it was AI. I figured that because, like I said, I've only seen like videos of Tyson like I think he kissed someone on the face before, but it's never been on the lips. I've never seen him do that ever, like ever. And the guy that was trying to defend that yesterday was saying, "Well, look at Lil Wayne and Baby," and I'm like, "That's not a great defense because everyone thought that was completely weird when that happened. So much so that Aaron Magruder made fun of it on the Boondocks back in the day. So yeah, um, so Mike Tyson's masculinity remains intact. Denzel Washington, we still don't know. Like for all we know, he could have just made up that whole thing about him kissing a guy and them removing it from the movie just to generate a buzz and for the movie to get people talking about it. So we don't know if that's true or not, but you had but there you know some people in entertainment think there's no such thing as bad publicity. Yes, there is. There clearly is a such thing as bad publicity. You don't, especially for someone who's been in Hollywood for over 40 years and has been known as a straight guy. Like he wouldn't even have makeout scenes with a white woman in his movies, which actually isn't true because in the movie there, I guess either Denzel doesn't remember or he hopes his fan base doesn't remember, but I do because again, not saying I have photographic memory because that doesn't exist, or maybe I even eidetic imagery memory, which does exist, but it's very rare in adults. Most people who have it are kids and they lose it by the time they reach adulthood, but that's a subject for another day. But anyway, I have a really good memory and I remember the movie he did with Ice-T where he was a cop in law school and he was friends with a dude that was a dope dealer, which was Ice-T. And they were friends, but then when he saw some of the stuff Ice T was doing, he's like, man, we can't really hang out like that anymore. And he's like, all right, yeah, I get it. But Ice T was the one who helped him get out of trouble when he got set up on some stuff. And then in one of the things, he even caught herpes because they drugged him to make it like he was doing drugs. They drugged him and brought in some prostitutes, and it was this chick sitting there riding him, like just you know giving him riding a man, and she was like, "Your mouth says no, but she was like, your little man says yes." I'm like, "Damn, Denzel, I thought it was no." It was funny because this was like back in 1990, well, about 1991, 1992, when Ice T's acting career finally went, jumped off after New Jack City. So I'm gonna say this about 92, and from then on, you know, Denzel starred in a bunch of movies co-starring these white women, but he would never like it was never like romantic with them in the movies, even though the actresses said yeah they were attracted to him, but he didn't want to do any romantic scenes with them. So he was like, yeah, I've never done romantic scenes with white women because I want black women to know that they're you know what I'm attracted to, and that they are attractive, and all, whatever his reasons being, I get it, but I remember him clearly having sex with the white chick in that movie. I think I don't. It's not the movie Trespass. That was a different movie with Ice T and Ice Cube. Different movie, but there was another movie with Ice Cube. I mean, sorry, Ice T, where again he was like playing this drug dealer, and Denzel was playing a cop who became a lawyer. And can't remember if anyone can remember the name of that movie. Leave it in the chat. But I don't want to I don't want to go too far straight from my original topic, which I've already done. That was a big tangential right there. But going back, so like I said, I've held some pretty far left positions when I was in college because those are the look academic institutions are by and large on the left. It's unavoidable. But like I keep telling people in the red pill space is stop telling people not to go to college just because academic institutions are on the left. If anything, you should be telling them they need to go into these institutions to balance them out. Because the thing is, all the all the conservative elites, they all have gotten their education, and I don't think these red pill people understand that. People might think people like Ted Cruz are crude, but Ted Cruz is like a Yale graduate or something. Yeah, I think he went to Yale. He's a Yale graduate. Ted Van, our new VP elect, JD Vance. I was about to say Ted Vance. JD Vance. He has an Ivy League education. So you can be conservative, you can be Republican, you can be on the political right, and still go get your higher education. And matter of fact, you should if you want to advance your career. So being in these institutions, even if they are by and large on the left politically, doesn't mean you should abandon them. If anything, you should go there and show them that there's other ways of thinking that are still rational, even if they are in the center or the right. Okay. So, like I said, philosophy, although most people think that's like something only people on the far left would study, actually will teach you to be less on the far left because you'll start questioning some of these extreme positions on the left. Like, for instance, veganism. I gave that up because I realized it wasn't rational. Another thing was I was a Green Party progressive. So I was all for Ralph Nader back in the early 2000s. Do you guys remember Ralph Nader, the consumer advocate who people blamed for Al Gore losing in the 2000 presidential election against George W. Bush? They tried to say, well, if Ralph Nader didn't run, that Al Gore would have won. It's like, no. Chances are the people who voted for Ralph Nader probably just wouldn't have voted at all if they didn't have that choice. Also, Ralph Nader didn't steal electoral votes from Al Gore. Bush did. When you look at the election outcome of 2000, Bush out outdid Gore, where basically it came down to a few hundred votes in this one county of Florida where their uh, their ballots were crude and had to be recounted, and it became a Supreme Court decision where the Supreme Court decided to throw out some of those ballots that were unreadable. So there's a there's an open question that maybe Al Gore won, but we'll never know because the Supreme Court decided not to count those ambiguous ballots. If you're young, you probably don't know of this controversy. For those who are millennials, if you're an older millennial, you probably remember this. If you're a younger millennial, you probably haven't heard of this, or you may have heard of it in passing, but don't know too much of it. But older millennials, Gen Xers, boomers, silent generation, all of us remember this. Okay. So yeah, at the time, I was I didn't want to be on the left or the right. Well, I didn't want to be Democrat or Republican, so I joined the Green. I became a Green Party guy, and I was very progressive at the time. And again, learning philosophy kind of curtailed that from me. This too. I thought the Green Party, while I like some of the stuff they said, I thought might be a little bit too radical for my taste. And I being that I can now have the ability to evaluate arguments, I could also evaluate political arguments because you evaluate all arguments in the same way. You look at the premises and you see if those premises um, lead to the conclusion made in those arguments. So, um, like I said, I've argued this numerous times that I think philosophy should be taught in public education. If if not if not philosophy in general, because my high school did teach philosophy. My father actually didn't want me to take it. He was telling the guidance counselor, "Oh, that could be dangerous." Oh, he was so right. I guess he didn't want me to realize how much of a dumb fuck he was. Well, sorry, because I ended up getting a full degree in it in college, and well, yeah. Ironically, he still came to my commencement ceremony. Well, to both of them, the psychology one and the philosophy one. The third major I never completed, um, but I was a triple major. If I did, that will also be on the wall too. I have had temptations to finish it, but we'll see. I've also had temptations to finish a minor in astronomy. I don't even know if that's still offered in the same way they did back then. But I might look into it, especially during the pandemic. You could have done this all from online, so that would have been a perfect time to finish all that stuff because I wouldn't have to actually go all the way back to the campus, which is an hour away. Well, actually less than an hour away from where I currently live. It's 40 minutes on a good day, 35 minutes if I'm speeding. So, but when it's traffic on the Washington Beltway, it could be an hour or well over that. So, wouldn't want to do that commute every single day. Now, if I was inside the Washington Beltway, that would be different. But coming from outside the Washington Beltway, that commute every day, just to finish a few classes to finish a major, yeah, especially in the undergrad major at that, because I was still completing my master's. So anyway, enough of that. But I like people to ask me questions if you would, so I can kind of explicate what I mean when I'm saying philosophy makes you a better thinker and it makes you better at politics. Like I said, po- political philosophy itself, it was on a downtrend for a long time. Then it was revived, I would say, about 25 years ago because of this important guy named John Rawls. John Rawls not only revived political philosophy and made it uh, a serious field of a serious domain within philosophy to study again, but he made it so that his ideas were talked about even in law school. He would be referenced like John Rawls and his theory of justice. Because he wrote two books. The original one was Theory of Justice, and then he basically redid the book and made a more concise version of it, um, which is the book I had and had for my class. I did a class on the philosophy of politics, and for extra credit, we were even told we can go to the Supreme Court and sit because if you guys don't know, anyone can sit in on like a Supreme Court hearing. It's free to any citizen to come and sit in on a hearing. I don't think a lot of people know that, but yes, if you live in the DMV and you're curious about how our constitution like got constitutional law, how these hearings actually work, how these Supreme Court justices actually decide cases, you can actually go down, you know, downtown Washington, uh, and check out one of these Supreme Court hearings. That's is open to us all. You just have to be there on time. Have ID. But in case you guys didn't know that, yes, you can. Anyone can go check out a Supreme Court hearing. Like I said, we were offered extra credit to do that for my philosophy on politics class. The funny thing is, so the TA, the teacher assistant for the class, was actually a lawyer who quit practicing law to do philosophy. He was like, man, and he was like, yeah, don't do law. It was crazy, but he was a good guy. So, um, but yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions, whether it's politics or philosophy, go ahead and shoot those questions to me because it's been a bit quiet in the chat room since I got off this all this other stuff. But let me get back to what Dark Star said because I did promise him I'll go back to his comment. Dark Star, Dark Star says I wouldn't put it past Tyson. I would be that surprised if he was by. He said I wouldn't be that surprised if he was by. I don't think he is, bro. That man, that man smashed a whole lot in his day. I mean, so much so he used to say that he used to have to bang chicks before a match because to to like get some of their aggression out because he said he didn't want to go in. He was like in the late '80s, early '90s. He said he didn't want to go into his matches overly aggressive because he thought he might kill someone. This is literally what he's saying. So he said he would have to have sex before a fight to like be less aggressive going into a fight. I'm like, damn. Because you know, in traditional boxing, they usually tell you not to fool around before a match, so you can go into a fight aggressive. But he led into it in the opposite manner. He said, "Nah." He said, "I had to, have quality time with women before I go into a match, or I would be too aggressive." I'm like, "Can you be too aggressive? Unless you're taking like steroids or something." But I, he definitely had his he definitely dabbled in drugs, but I don't know if he ever dabbled in steroids. He was definitely using things like cocaine. I mean, we all. I mean, I think many of us have seen that notorious picture of him with the cocaine on his nose, and he admitted that he had a substance abuse problem back in the day, which makes sense because he suffers from bipolar disorder. So many people um, who have substance abuse problems usually is usually comorbid with some sort of psychiatric condition, which in his case was bipolar disorder. So it makes sense that he was like self medicating. So a lot of people who are abusing drugs and alcohol usually have some sort of comorbid psychiatric condition with it, which is why they're self medicating in the first place. Just food for thought. Um, but yeah, so getting back to the subject, guys, like any is there any questions out there for me about you know what what particular aspects of philosophy would help them think better about politics or what is or what or maybe do people do people in politics need more philosophy training to be better at what they do? That's good. That that might be a good question. I know the philosophy well, I don't know if he teaches philosophy still, but he has a YouTube channel. Peter Bagazian is a PhD level philosopher, and he's actually told been online saying to Donald Trump that he would like to be nominated to be the Secretary of Education, that he would get it back in order. That may not be needed now because as of today, Trump said that when he comes into office, he was dismantling the Department of Education. And I remember during his first term in office in 2016, when he nominated Nancy, I think her name was Nancy Ross, um, as the head as the Secretary of Education, she said herself she thought it would be better if they just dismantled the whole department and she said brought the building down. And at the time, I really didn't buy it because again, I was still like firmly planted on the political left, and I'm like, she wants to destroy this institution. Then when I looked at it, because it was established, I believe in 1979, I really don't know what good came out of the Department of Education from 79 until 24. Like all the federal programs, like the federal Pell Grants, um, and stuff like that, the Stafford loans, the federal Stafford loans, all these things can be done without the Department of Education. You don't need the Department of Education to do those things. And also to bolster that point, until Obama came into office, the federal Stafford loans were offered through banks. They weren't like it was Obama in his term of office who actually made the federal Stafford loans come directly from the Department of Education itself. It didn't used to be through that. It didn't used to be that way. And even when he did that, you still had loan. You had you still had these private financial institutions basically being the loan guarantors and loan servicers. So it didn't even make it. It didn't even make sense. Like it just created more bureaucracy to say, okay, because it seemed like a good idea at the time. He was like, all right, we're going to bring all the federal student loans directly under the Department of Education instead of having them give doled out through these private institutions that have contracts with the federal government. But then he still gave a bunch of these financial institutions the the contracts to be the loan guarantors and servicers. I'm like, so what was the difference? Other than now, your your federal student loan will say Department of Education instead of saying Sally Mae. Because if you had a loan back in the 90s and 2000s, um, it's probably through like someone like Sally Mae or something like that. So that was like the most hated word if you were a student. Like everyone was like every time there was like a riot or something going on in the government, people were like, "Why don't you burn down Sally Mae? That's what you need to burn down. Stop burning down your start stop burning down the block. Stop burning down the hood and burn down Sally Mae." Not realizing how privileged that sounds because most of these people who are in the hood burning shit down don't have student loans, and you're telling them no, go burn down Sally Mae. It was just crazy. But I was all for it. I was like, yeah, burn down Sally Mae. but Sally Mae was only one of the big banks doing federal student loans at the time. But anyway, Obama changed it where all the loans were now under the Department of Education. But aside from that, I really can't think of what they've really done. It's been beneficial for the past 45 years that have made them necessary. So I'm all for like getting rid of them because in case you guys didn't know, another thing Trump is going to do is he's forming a new federal department called the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doji. Like Doji Coin, the thing that Elon Musk likes. That he's and guess who's going to be the head of Department of Government Efficiency, or Doji for short? Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. He's making them the two department chairs of this new department, where they're going to come in and basically show look at all the bureaucracy and government inefficiency and slash the federal government. Something that people have been the people on the on the right, on the conservative side, have been asking for years. But even people on the left have talked about some of the bureaucracy and inefficiency. So even though a lot of people on the left might hate the idea of slashing federal government because they think that's going to slash like all these social welfare programs, which is not necessarily the case. Um, One of the things the people on the left have been against for the longest time was the overbloated Pentagon budget. They want to slash the Pentagon government too, and now It's people on the so it's people on the right now where mad about that. Like, no, you don't need to slash the Pentagon. But here's the thing: as I've talked about numerous times before in my previous streams, the Pentagon has never had a successful audit. They've just failed their seventh audit, which is bad. Like, where's all this money gone? And if you think this is not a big deal, they cannot account for $859 billion. $859 billion. That's almost $1 trillion of unaccounted for money, taxpayer money. So if Doji wants to slash the Pentagon, go right on ahead. Matter of fact, a lot of they often will give the Pentagon more money than they even ask for. Like they was like, we didn't ask for this much money, and then you wonder what they do with this money. I know people are familiar with the Joker sequel, Folly I Do, which is actually the term of a mental disorder where two people share the same. It is actually a term for a mental disorder shared by two people who are experiencing the same delusions. That's why they call it a folie à deux, or literally a mistake of two in French, because you have two people experiencing the same delusions, which is apparently what they were saying was happening with Joker and what's her name, uh, Harlequin, and she wasn't even a Harlequin in the movie. She was just Quinn, but whatever. Anyway, the movie was whack. I've talked about it before, but it was called Joker Folie à Deux. One, because it was the second film, so you had the part two in it, and it's called Folie à Deux because also it was saying that both of them were both suffering the same mental disorders because they were both locked up in Arkham Asylum. Spoiler alert: the reason why most people hate that movie is because you find out he was not really the Joker. He's just Arthur Fleck. He just fancies himself the Joker, but he's not the real Joker. And he gets killed by the real Joker at the end of the film, whom we don't actually see. Harlequin is not really Harlequin. She's just someone locked up in the institution with him, and he spends most of the time in the movie like being on trial for the murders he committed in the first movie. Whack. It's fucking whack. So don't go see that movie if you haven't seen it already. You you should actually be happy if I spoiled it for you, because you would be really mad going through that whole movie and finding out that Arthur Fleck was not the real Joker the whole time. That they basically ruined the whole first movie by in the second movie saying that he wasn't actually the Joker. So if you really like the first movie, you're gonna really hate the second one, because it seems like the second one is basically saying "fuck you" to all the people who like the first movie. You're a bunch of incels, because they tried to say that people liked it for the wrong reasons. When you, as an artist, can't say people like your art for the wrong reasons. You're not in that position. You can only you can only make art and people will like it or dislike it, but you can't dictate that they like it for the right reasons. Anyway, getting back to the subject, like I said, I don't see any response from anyone in the chat room, so I'm gonna end this if there's no other, um, if there's no questions. My beautiful Agatha, I don't know if she's still out here, if she's still here or not. Um, but if not, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna leave. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions about politics, the election, how philosophy can make you think better on these sorts of matters, um, whether politics is antithetical to philosophy or vice versa, and if people need to be trained in philosophy to be able to do politics, these are all viable questions. I'll be more than willing to answer them, or any other questions you guys can think of. Or if people are seeing this on the replay of this broadcast and you have questions, you can leave it in the comment section as well, and I'll answer the stuff in the comment section. I always make that offer to in all my live streams. If you're watching this broadcast on a replay, this or any of the other ones, one, give me a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video, and if you want to support the cause, you can always drop me a super thanks. Um, and my Venmo and Cash App are in the description. Cash App is really cool. Like, I don't care if it's $1, it always helps. Um, or you can buy me a coffee. I literally just had coffee before I did this stream, which is why I'm so energetic at this time of night because I'm usually not. I'm usually winding down by like 8:30, honestly. So if I'm energetic past 8:30, trust me, it was coffee. Because it won't be a nap. Because if I take a nap that late, I'm just gonna stay asleep and get back up around 4. But I only see one person active in the chat. So I'm going to head out if there's no questions. If you guys have questions about the Tyson or John Jones fight, because you weren't in my stream yesterday, you can still ask me. Like Zelvin did. I think that man is off to go to bed. And sound like he's a little young cat right there. Sound like he's doing good for himself. He said he has a 4.0 GPA. Hope he keeps that up. Um, Abder, no offense to you, bro. Keep coming back to the stream, but let's just be chill. All right. Um, Tupac Jong, you're always welcome back as well. Um, but I don't think you should be repping Pyrus in North Korea. I don't think that would go well. But I don't, and I actually question whether you're in North Korea because I don't think you guys would have. Besides, I don't even know you have reliable internet access in North Korea, and particularly Pyongyang, unless you are like someone in the military elite. That's pretty much the only ones who will have like reliable internet access is people in the military elite. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be able to go on YouTube. And again, even if you're in the military elite, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be talking about your Pyru in North Korea. There's no such thing as Pyrus in North Korea. Saying there's Pyrus in North Korea is like saying it's like saying people eat Big Macs in India. It just doesn't happen. So I don't know if you guys can hear the background music as well. I always try to play some, although sometimes I forget. This is beautiful cherry blossom music, relaxing Japanese Zen music for stress relief. Give them a thumbs up for the music. But it looks like I don't have any questions. I see some people lurking in the chat room, but aren't saying anything. I know sometimes I have my homeboy. He always checks in on me on my chat on my live stream, so I appreciate him. Um, I don't know Agatha if Agatha is still active here because it was Agatha all along. And I don't even know if she got that joke if she ever watched WandaVision. But they did a spin-off show of Agatha and they named it Agatha all along, which it took them 2 years to do because they had shelved the series for like a whole year and a half or longer, and one of the things they kept trying to think of was a title for the show, and they just settled on Agatha all along. I think I might watch the first episode just to see how truly bad it was because they made it, instead of it being a superhero show, they instead made it all about being queer. I'm like, why? This is why Disney is losing. This is why people have started rebelling against far left ideas and entertainment by going to politics. What, when people feel shoved, they fall into politics because Hollywood can be a bully of sorts, where they can push their ideas into mainstream society just through constant reinforcement through the stuff that they make in TV shows and movies, uh, and other things they provide, like um, those little daytime TV shows and other sorts of bullshit. So people started rebelling against that. In a representative democracy, you always find people that will represent your interests. So, and that's what happened. So you had a red wave, and part of the fault of that red wave was Hollywood. But like I said, making a spin-off show about superheroes, Wanda, you know, who's who's the Scarlet Witch and Vision and all that stuff. Instead of it making more about witchcraft, they decided to make about being queer or whatever because they tried to say, well, witchcraft and queer go hand in hand. Like, no, they don't. I mean, if that's the case, then that will put a whole different spin on the Salem witch trials and stuff like that, which is also on Disney Plus. They have a whole National Geographic docu series about the witch trials, which came out, right during the beginning of spooky season this year, because it coalesced with the interest in witchcraft and spooky stuff. And nowhere, because I watched the first episode is all about the Salem witch trials, and then they go on to different witch hunts throughout other parts of the world and in history. But the whole first part was about the Salem witch trial. Nowhere did it mention that these women were being persecuted for being queer. It wasn't really implied. What was implied more or less was that there was a class struggle. There was a power struggle amongst the classes. Like you had people from the Salem town, people from the city of Salem, and you had people who were well-to-do, whereas there was people who were struggling, and this caused a lot of tension within the town of Salem. And this is what's caught, which this is what caused a lot of the the issues in that town, which led to the witch trials, issue of sour grapes, so to speak. Never did it really cover that they thought that these women were living alternative lifestyles, which made them think that they were witchcraft, like they were practicing witchcraft. That wasn't the issue. I get Marvel is doing some fantasy stuff, but if you're gonna do fantasy stuff, why would it have to veer on sexuality? This is why Disney. This is why people don't take the MCU seriously anymore. Aside from Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's because they let basically Deadpool be Deadpool the same way he was in Fox Studios. They let Deadpool be Deadpool via Ryan Reynolds. But I'm gonna watch the first episode, see how bad that is. I just reminded myself of that actually, so I'm gonna go do that since I'm not getting any play here. Uh, I don't. I see one person reappeared in the chat room. I don't know if that's Agatha. Can you let me know if that's you? If not, I'm gonna go. And if people have any questions for me, guys, leave it in the comment section for this live stream. Once, because I upload it, upload all of them after they're done. Um, or you can always shoot me an email that will be in the description. Or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram or my Facebook account linked to this channel. That's also in the description as well. Or you can just wait to the next stream and shoot me a comment there as well. That's always welcome. And I think that's a wrap, guys. Like I said, I'll give it a few seconds in case someone was about to reply to me, or if Agatha's still there. I don't. I think she's already gone on with her evening, because she and I are in the same time zone. Other than that, I think that would be it. And yes, those are some of my accolades on the wall. um, Glad to be back home. For people who were riding with me for the past 3 months, I was actually at my grandmother's house helping her out. Um, but she was having another person move in, so it would have just been too cluttered because I already had my cousin and her husband there as well. So it would have been just way too cluttered. So I had to go. Um, Quizzically, though, she was bringing another person in who also had serious health issues. So we'll see how that goes. But one thing I won't be able to do is keep coming back and forth there to check on them. If I'm there, I'm there. I can help. But if I'm here, no. It is within driving distance, guys. It's very close, but it's just inconvenient because I do have a life. So even when I was there, I was like gone half the day. So, but all right, guys. That's it for me. Please give me a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video. If you want to support me, you can support me by becoming a member of the channel. I have some member only content uploaded. I will make some more in the future as I see more memberships growing. When I see more memberships, I'll make more member only content. But I want to make too much member only content that's behind a paywall. If other, if uh, it's not going to be seen. As a matter of fact, I may release one of the members only content this week just so people can see what they're missing. I might do that. um, we will see about that. All right. Um, but until then, guys, have a wonderful evening or a great day if you're on the other side of the world. Um, Thank you for the people who chimed in. Thank you again to my lovely Agatha. Not to mention all my other mods who might be busy doing other things right now. Check you guys later. Thank you.